Hi everyone. I hope we're all coping with the current restrictions on life, and hopefully we're managing to transition slowly into a headspace for Pesach. A thought that occurs to me often this time of year is trying to understand why we as a nation, or before we became a nation, had to undergo slavery. It's often framed as a bit of a mere unfortunate technicality that happened before the big stuff happened, meaning before we were freed and before we became the nation. And it's like, yeah, we were slaves, then we were free, that's awesome. And the very idea of slavery and the idea of that, oppression that we underwent just seems to be the technical context from which we were taken. But we know that Hashem didn't join us as a people then. Hashem had a relationship with us, with our ancestors before that. The oppression that we experienced was preordained. Abraham was told of it. So seemingly this slavery was a very clear part of a plan, rather than just a technical situation that we were freed from. And an idea that really resonates with me, and hopefully will with some of you, is that the experience that we underwent before we became a nation was formative to define our future purpose as a nation. Meaning, before we could go and, fulfill a role in the world, whatever that may be, we had to experience something that forever sort of engraved in our minds the importance of that task. And then the sort of, the purpose that would be referring to is the idea of recognizing, favoring the weak over the strong. And that's a very big theme in a number of Jewish holidays and Hanukkah, Pesach, etc. This idea that we, as a people, were not the strongest, we were not the wealthiest, we weren't necessarily the best in terms of merit either, but simply Hashem would not tolerate, and we see it in Moshe as well, would not tolerate the oppression of the weak simply because they were weak. And it's the sort of, siding with the underdog because no one else will. And I think that's a big part of sort of our role as Jewish people now. That's something I personally feel very strongly about. And I think that this formative experience as a nation, as experiencing that slavery, is meant to colour that that future purpose, whereby just like we experienced being redeemed, being valued, regardless of the fact that we weren't mighty or powerful, is something to take with us when we're considering how we treat others and how we relate to the world around us. There are a lot of underdogs, there are a lot of minorities, there are a lot of people without much of a voice. And the crucial experience of our nation was that we were given a voice, we were recognized despite being weak and despite being small. And hopefully we can take that with us in the way in which we approach the world. And yeah, wishing everyone Chag Sameach, and hopefully this all subsides pretty soon.